Hey friends, it's Linz, and I'm excited to talk about something a little different today because I have been focusing on postpartum. But there is lots to my story that I like to share that God has done through hard things. And today I want to talk about overcoming abuse. So, verbal abuse and sexual abuse is all too common in the world today, and a lot of people don't talk about it because a lot of times when you're the victim of it, or if you'd rather say the survivor of it, you're silenced. It comes with shame, it comes with guilt, it comes with condemnation, and it is difficult to overcome those things without support and without the love of Christ. You need Jesus, you need His Word, you need the truth to know that shame, guilt, and condemnation are not from God. And God is not mad at you because you've been abused. God does not blame you because you were abused. God does not want to stay far away from you because you were abused. These are all lies that I have found myself trapped in and have believed. When you believe those things, you become very depressed, because if your reality is that you cannot be loved because you were abused, that's how you're living life, without love. And that is very sad, when you can't love yourself and you can't receive love from others. So I want to talk about it in detail a little bit. The abuse that I went through was mainly when I was a young teenager. I was being groomed in the home, and I was being sexually abused outside of the home. So typically when you go through abuse, you become more vulnerable to more abuse, especially when you've not received help from possibly the first event. And I would say I experienced verbal abuse as well, for sure, even into my adulthood from a parental standpoint. And this can be very detrimental to your well-being, especially when it comes from parents or trusted leaders in your life, because you obviously have made yourself vulnerable enough to trust them, and they break that. So after that, you feel like you don't know who you can trust, and everything becomes very confusing because you realize what you were being told: I will never hurt you, I will never leave you, I will never lie to you. All these things have actually happened, and it makes you feel deceived. It makes you feel like, what's wrong with me that I didn't see it coming? What's wrong with me that I didn't know better? And you start to blame yourself. There comes that voice of blame and shame. There must be something wrong with you that it happened to you. Maybe it's because you're ugly. Maybe it's because you're fat. Maybe it's because you're too skinny. Maybe it's because this, that, who knows what, because your teeth. Maybe it's because you messed up that one time, or maybe it's because you don't always follow the rules perfectly and you should have been better. You should just be better, and this would not have happened to you. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with me? It's the ticker tape that I have had go off in my mind and my heart for many, many years. Let's see. I was even experiencing condemnation when I came to even click play to video and talk about this, because there's still that voice that says you're not allowed to talk about this. It's the enemy. You're not allowed to talk about this. The enemy loves things to be in the dark. God brings things to the light. He is all about light. because where things are exposed, the devil can't use them anymore to destroy you. For a long time still, I've shared bits and pieces of this before, but I'm 29 and it is still something I'm overcoming parts of it. Just not allowing it to be a part of my identity, not allowing it to silence me, and not allowing it to create underlying shame in my life. I am a wonderful mother, I'm a wonderful wife, and I am proud of the person that I am becoming. All glory to God. I make mistakes every day, but I do a lot of great things every day. And I believe God's very proud of me for how far I've come. And it's okay to say that. For the longest time, I would have never even said that. I'm proud of myself. I'm too busy focusing on all the things I don't do good enough, or I don't do right, or I do wrong. I believe that's been a little more amplified in my life because of that abuse. And it happened at an age and at a time where I was very vulnerable. I was a child. I was still a child. I was a young teenager, 14, 15, 16, 17. All this was still going on, where I was being groomed in the home or sexually abused outside of the home. And these were both by people that were trusted. One was a parent and one was a friend. And both of these people had verbally manipulated me into believing that what was happening was love, and they were wanting to show me attention. Of course, wanted me to believe that that was in a good way, that what they were doing was something I needed. And that just opened up a whole lot of wrong beliefs for me as I came into adulthood, because a lot of my first encounters of physical things like that were abuse. And or not some, they were. And of course, having sexual abuse happen from a female can add another factor to this thing, because it's just an even deeper shame when it's another woman, another female, that does this to you. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I didn't know it was abuse. When it started, I knew something wasn't right about it, but I didn't know how to say stop. And I was afraid to say stop. I was afraid in general. And when I did reach out for help from adults, from a parent, from a grandparent, I was silenced, and I was told that I needed to respect the abuser, and if I didn't, then I needed to leave. And so if you can imagine what this told me, that moment, I rehashed that moment so many times, because that moment told me that I was not worthy of being heard, that my voice didn't matter, that I didn't matter what happened to me. I'm a liar. I'm not believed. I'm not valuable enough to be believed. I'm not worthy of protection. I'm not worthy of defense or proper love or proper care. And I started to treat myself that way from then on out, because some of it was in the dark for a while, and then when I brought it to the light and I was still silenced, that spoke an even harsher word to me, that you just don't matter. You asked for help and you still don't matter. But that's not what God was saying. Little did I know. And it was very wrong for adults to not listen to me when I was reaching out for help multiple times, saying, this person is making me feel uncomfortable. This person is doing things to me that I don't like. They're touching me in a way that I don't like. They're saying things to me that I don't like. But instead of hearing me and protecting me, they would say things like, they don't mean it that way, that's just how they are, and or it wasn't like that. You're taking it the wrong way. You're doing this for attention. Let's see. Well, why didn't you tell them to stop? Why did you dress the way that you dressed around him? You know, all the things that you hear happen when someone's abused and they reach out for help, that you think, would someone really respond that way? Yes. People do respond that way, unfortunately, because you do have cases of rape and things like that where you hear in the world today are dramatized. Say, like, if there was consensual sex happening and then a parent finds out and one of the people involved in the sex says that it was rape. There are things like that, but it's not always like that. So it's very important to not undermine that abuse happens. Abuse happens a lot more than people realize, and I think it happens more from people that are trusted people. Unfortunately, it usually doesn't come from just some random person walking down the street. And then, of course, speaking of verbal abuse, verbal abuse has happened in my life, especially from a parental side that has had addiction, and from the same outlet of abuse as well, because again, just no respect. So when there's no respect and no boundaries, it's a recipe for disaster. And that is what I experienced as a young teenager and into my adulthood, and really as a kid. And then as far as the sexual abuse goes outside of the home from the female, it was an upperclassman at my school that I thought was a friend. I wasn't aware. I guess I should have been aware, but I was in 8th grade. I didn't know that this person already had problems with their sexuality, because it was obvious but yet hidden. And it was presented to me as they just needed a friend. They just needed comfort. Just hold my hand, I'm scared at night, to more and more things. And that is something that I never foresaw. It really messed me up. It confused the absolute heck out of me. Why is this happening to me? Again, what's wrong with me? Is this some sort of punishment from God? Because here it is again. Am I being punished? But at the time, it was kind of just like survival. At the time, I wasn't necessarily having these clear thoughts of this is abuse, etc., etc. It was kind of, you just go into survival mode. And I became very afraid. I felt like I had to hide. I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed for anyone to see me, actually see me. I was ashamed for anyone to know. The abuser, in this case, again, directly verbally blamed me, said it was my fault, that I started it. And there was death threats, like, if basically, if you're not my friend, I'm going to kill myself, things like that. There was other cases of abuse that the person that abused me, come to find out, had abused other girls as well, even younger than me. And most likely that this girl was abused as well. It's a very sad situation where that continues to just keep making its way through generations and through relationships. Someone's abused, and then they abuse someone else, and then they abuse someone else. That has stopped with me. That will not be the case, and has never been the case. But what happened is I just suffered. I suffered in silence for a long time, in shame, self-hatred, and I ended up developing an eating disorder when I was a junior in high school. And I had torn my ACL twice, so I couldn't play soccer my senior year, and that's what I think I was using to cope more than I realized with just life and stress. And so when that was gone, I think a lot of what was happening just took over, like the weight of all of it. Maybe that I had suppressed it and was carrying it and had no outlet anymore, because I didn't consciously know how to deal with it. And maybe the soccer was just subconsciously a way that I was releasing some of the emotions from it. I don't know. But when I tore my ACL, I just went to a bad place. I developed an eating disorder, and that started off as just a thought, oh, I'm going to eat healthy because I'm not playing right now. I'm not playing sports, and I just need to watch what I eat. To full out starving myself, or when I was starved so much I was binge eating. Then I would over exercise, and it was just this cycle of binge eating, starving, over exercising. So again, abuse to myself. So that's what happened as a result of my abuse. I started to basically abuse myself through an eating disorder, even though again I was not consciously doing that. It was a coping mechanism that formed. So not healthy at all. Very, I would say, just unstable, very anxious, became very depressed, became very isolated. It just happened all at once, it seemed. Even though it didn't, it happened over years, and then it's just a few of these situations I think triggered it, and it changed my life. It changed my life drastically. It changed the direction of my life. And I did not know Jesus during all of this. I did not know him. I came across scripture, I remember, and those are ones that I still hold on to today during the time that it spoke to me. Jeremiah 29:11 is the main one. And so I do remember how God was reaching me even when I was completely blind and could not see. And it's so fun to look back and see where he showed up during those times, even when I didn't know it. But that eating disorder stayed with me for years. In college, it was something I was ashamed of. I was trying to fix it. I didn't understand why. I wouldn't have told you this is because I was abused. I just thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was broken, and I was just a mess, to be honest with y'all. Throwing up in between classes, not eating what they gave us, like after games and stuff like that, or if I did eat it, sometimes I would throw up. It was all these rules of what was safe to eat, what was not safe to eat, and it all was underlying with that abuse. A lot of people that develop eating disorders, it's because they've been abused. It's very scary because food is something that you need every day. So if you're not dealing with the underlying problem, it continues to be a problem. And it's no way to live. It's a very dark place to live. It's very depressing, isolating, and lonely. You feel like no one understands. You feel like no one will love you if they know. And then I went to a treatment center and realized that there was a lot of other people that were dealing with the same thing. I wanted help. I knew I couldn't live like that, and I asked for help. Thankfully, after a little push, parents realized, okay, she needs help. Because before then, I think it was more so, let's keep it under wraps, because who knows what people might find out. And unfortunately, people were more concerned what people found out than they were my well-being, and weren't wanting to connect the dots to the obvious, to the given. So it feels really good to share this, and I'm going to continue to share about what I need to share as needed, because I pray this helps somebody else identify if they've been abused, or if you're trying to overcome that and you're battling shame, guilt, and condemnation, and you need someone to talk to. I am here for you. I am here for you, and I will not be someone that shames you or puts you down or makes you feel not heard. If you need someone to talk to about something like that, you don't deserve to live with that. You don't deserve to feel like you have to protect your abusers. You don't deserve to live blaming yourself for that. So weight lifted off of me. Huge weight. You are loved, you are seen, you are chosen, you are known by God. He is not abusive, and He's not okay that that happened to you. And He never wanted that to happen to you. But it is true that if we love God, He can use all things for the good of those who love Him and called according to His purpose. So believe with me today that He'll do that for you, and He'll do that for me. See you next time.